What is a trauma bond and how do you break it? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm Victoria McCooey. I'm a high conflict divorce coach, a divorce mediator, and the creator of the Reclaim Your Power system. I help people every day who are right where you are, stuck in a toxic marriage to a narcissistic spouse or already engaged in a contentious divorce from one. So when you're married to a narcissistic spouse, you're in an abusive relationship. You are dealing with narcissistic abuse day in and day out, year in and year out. And what happens is there forms a trauma bond between you. What is a trauma bond? It is the unhealthy relationship that forms between a victim and the victim's abuser. So let's look at some ways this manifests. So what happens when you're in this trauma bonded relationship and you get a text and you see it's from your narcissistic spouse? You get that jump scare, right? That rush of adrenaline, that I need to be there for that person. I have to react right away. That is the trauma bond in action. Also, that feeling that you get of like walking on eggshells, you're trying to anticipate what is going to upset the abuser, what's going to rattle them, what can they overreact to, and you're trying to avoid getting into those sorts of situations. That is the trauma bond at work. You're anticipating their needs constantly and trying to smooth things over for them. Also, another way this manifests is in over-apologizing. The victim will take on all the responsibility for everything that upsets the narcissistic spouse, whether it's their fault or not. So this habit that the victim gets into of over-apologizing, constantly taking the blame or the responsibility for everything, even when it's actually the narcissist's fault. I would love it if you would tell me what you experience in the comments. Like, are there other ways this manifests in your relationship, in your trauma bond with your narcissist? Write in the comments below so you can let us know what they are. Okay, so now you know you're in a trauma bond. How do you break it? Well, just like it took years and years for this to develop, you can't just undo it overnight. It takes healing and practice and therapy, and what that looks like is talking through, like we're doing right now, talking about what it is and how it happens and looking at it more analytically through cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like assessing the issues, like thinking about it analytically, like you're a scientist taking data, right? Understanding how this has manifested, how you are in this pattern, and seeing it as if you were on the outside looking in. That's a way of sort of dissecting it and seeing it from a different perspective. That's a great way to start being able to heal and change your patterns. And finally, it's a really important thing to remember when you're trying to break a trauma bond is not to overshare. So this person that you're trauma bonded with, I'm guessing, has you pretty isolated. You don't have a lot of outside support. Now you're getting outside support, or you're just trying to do this healing. Don't share this with the abuser. Don't talk about what you're trying to accomplish. Don't talk about how you've pinpointed that this is a trauma bond and you're trying to break free from it. That will not help you at all. They'll double down. They'll tell you you're wrong. They'll amp up the abuse. So this is something that you have to keep to yourself and not share with your narcissistic spouse. Does this sound like what you're experiencing in your marriage? If you'd like some help, you can book a call with me. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get right on my calendar. Did you find this information helpful? I hope you did. If you liked this video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I've linked a couple of other videos here that I think you might also like, so I hope I see you in the next video.